All right, welcome back. Behind the Gate, episode 7. I'm your host, Andrew Westmoreland. Got my soon-to-be good friend, Miss Lori Poag here. Her husband could not be with us. That's okay, though. We miss him. We might cut him in standing here at some point. We are downtown Greensboro in her and his candy shop, Something BARowed. We're going to spend some time learning about where the business came from. Let's just start with you telling us a little bit about yourself, then we'll get into the business and how it came about.
Okay, so as you mentioned, I'm Lori. My husband couldn't be here today, but he's here with us in spirit. So we have been in the business we're going into our 11th year. We have been in this space in downtown Greensboro going into our 6th year. When we started the business, we started in a room in our house. It was just, working out of one of our bedrooms, and it's turned into all of this. So we are a 3-in-1 business. We are a candy store, like you mentioned. We also do candy catering for events, like our candy bar stations. And then we are a event venue where you can have private events, children's birthday parties, anything you can think of here in our space. Adult birthday parties. We've done some bachelorette parties in here,
Wow.
But primarily kids' parties and children's parties.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. So I'm really excited for you to tell them how this kind of all came about.
Okay.
Word on the street is it was a quest for a candy bar at your wedding.
That's true.
Has kind of brought this whole journey about. Tell us more about how that all took place and really where the inspiration came from that experience to kind of get where you are now.
Okay. So we got married in 2013, and the craze around that time was, over the top wedding favors. And so we really wanted to do a candy bar or a candy buffet. We've gone to a couple of weddings and seen that, and it's just a really fun favor because the guest can kind of pick which candies they like, and it's a little nostalgic and depending on what type of candies you have, and it's just a fun way to end the night. So we were gung-ho on having this candy bar and had seen it done at another friend's wedding, and we were like, we can do this ourselves. So I was the type of bride that wanted to hire all of my vendors. I didn't want to, have to worry about anything. If it could be hired out for someone else to do it, I was like, take it.
Who was the bridezilla, groomzilla?
We really were like very, very chill. He was like, whatever you want to do. I was like, thanks,
Smart man. Smart
so yeah, so it's like whatever you want to do. And so, but he did have a lot of say so about the candy bar because one of his favorite candies are like Nestle Crunch bars. So, I did let him kind of have his say so for some of the candies. And so we tried to find a vendor that could do this for us. And we got married in Greenville, North Carolina. And so, a lot of the wedding vendors, the nicer wedding vendors that you see with specialties are either in like the Raleigh-Durham area or in the Charlotte area or Greensboro. So we were looking at paying ridiculous costs to get somebody to come down to Eastern North Carolina to do that. And so we were like, you know what? We can do this ourselves. It can't be that hard. Now, keep in mind, this was before the days of like Pinterest and where you can go on YouTube and like just, YouTube University, do stuff yourself. So I kind of just did some online searching. We said we were going to go to IKEA one weekend and get all of the jars that we would need. So we bought the jars. We had to go online to find all of the candy in the certain color that we wanted, which was kind of annoying to have to do that. And then we got down to the day of the wedding. We had all our supplies. He's looking at me, I'm looking at him, and we're like, who's going to put this thing together? We forgot about that part. So we had like some hostesses, some of my good friends, and we were like, okay, literally the morning of the wedding, I'm there with my hair rollers in, trying to talk one of my friends through how to set this up, like the vision I had in my mind. And I'm like, I'm crazy. Like, why did we do this at the last minute? And so I gave her the instructions. I'm like, we had 480 people at our wedding. And so I know, all right, 480
Whoa, hold on,
people
wait.
at our
That was 480?
480.
Wow.
So I had enough candy for 500 people I know. And so I left it all in her hands. I said, you got this. You know, it was one of my friends. I'm not going to call her out, but she did a great job. But it was one of my friends, and she had like someone helping her. And, you know, we got down to the wedding. We're at the reception, you know, we're having a great time. And I look up, and she had one job, and that was to man the candy station, the candy bar, make sure it got replenished. Nobody like knocked anything over. And this was right around the time when the wobble had just come out.
Oh, yep.
So that was like,
Wedding
if you hear
favorite,
that,
for
the
sure.
wobble starting to play, it's like a mass exodus to the dance floor. And so I look up, we're all dancing, and she's on the dance floor beside me wobbling. And I'm like, well, if you're here, who's over there? And people had just like ravished the candy bar. Like, stuff was knocked over, you know. And not only that, at the end of the night, we got back, you know, we were in our room, and they started like wheeling up the cart with like our gifts on it. And there was the big box that all of the candy was in. So I was looking for like all of the leftover candy. She forgot to replenish the candy bar. So probably there was only enough candy out for maybe 75 people. So we're stuck with, what is that? Enough candy for maybe like 400 people? Yeah. So it was a great idea. It just, the execution of it didn't go the way we thought it would. And we were sitting on our honeymoon talking about what went right, what went wrong, what could have gone better. And we were like, we wish we could have hired somebody to do this for us. So if we would have hired somebody to do it, somebody else would hire us. I mean, we had all of the material, we still had the dishes. We had the know-how. We knew like, okay, about how many people it would, I mean, if you feed 400 people, you know, you can feed less than that. So we knew how to do it. And so we just took it on, and we started doing candy bar stations for friends and families and baby showers and graduation parties. And it just became a thing.
Well, you started out with minimal business expense.
Yeah.
Because you already had candy for 400 people.
Yeah.
You're like, how do we get rid of this? Let's just start a candy business.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
Where'd y'all go on y'all's honeymoon?
St. Martin.
St. Martin?
Yeah.
Awesome.
St. Martin.
So obviously starting a business has its challenges.
Oh, for sure.
You shared you've been in business for 11 years?
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
At this location for 6? Is that
yes.
correct?
Uh-huh.
So what challenges do you feel like you dealt with in the beginning of this, and how'd you overcome them? Let's get into that a little bit.
So I will say that, you know, my husband and I, we somewhat had the cheat code to be able to start a business. And I say that because I went to school for advertising and marketing, graphic design. His background is in retail merchandising. So, you know, at the time he was doing that for Coca-Cola. So, you know, as far as like visual displays and being able to get the word out about the business and be able to have like, you know, your creative pieces, business cards and stuff like that, we were able to really work together as a team to get our business off the ground for the first couple of years. But I would say the real challenging side of owning a business came with the storefront. Okay. And the overhead that you have there. Because, you know, when you're running your business out of your house, you're going to pay mortgage anyway. So, you know, but you really have to know what you're doing to be able to not only secure the clientele, but to keep them coming back. So, you know, I would definitely say that the challenges with having a storefront, the challenges with, you know, at one point in time, we had started doing so much business that it was like, okay, one of us are going to have to quit our jobs to do this like full time. So really coming to that crossroads of, okay, you know, who's going to step out there, you know, so having those hard conversations there. And then when you come to the point where you have so much business, you need to hire staff, you know, that's a whole nother thing, you know, because it's the equivalent of hiring like a babysitter. You know, there's someone that's with your business when you can't be there. So you want to make sure that person's qualified. So I would say, you know, of course, with each year in business, we've had our challenges and our milestones, but, you know, somehow when you're really passionate about what you do, you just keep coming back for the crazy. So, yeah.
I love that. I think you hit something that, I see and read about a lot too. Just hiring is very difficult.
It's a lot.
and sometimes I don't want to call anybody out. Sometimes the hardest part is you really fall in love with somebody that you're hiring and they just don't work out.
Yeah.
And having that like self-realization.
Yeah.
It's almost like, oh no, I wouldn't hire somebody that's not good at their job.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Taking those steps to either fire them or find the next person. I've always found that very, very challenging.
And you're only as good as your team. That's how I feel like sometimes. So, you could be really great at business, but if you're not able to have it still run when you're not there, is it really a business? So
that's a great point. I'm going to take that note home and read that a few times. So you mentioned that you kind of got into the kid party scene, and I think the adult party scene personally, but anyway, I'm kidding. So the kid party scene, tell us about, I'm a parent. I've got this rambunctious group of kids. I'm going to plan a party. I come to you. How does that look like? Where do I find you? How do I set it up? Tell us everything about that.
Okay, so when we started doing events, the thing was we would kind of bring the party to you. We would come and do we would set up our candy. And so we started getting some requests for could you do like an activity where the kids could build something with candy or make something? We were like, oh, sure, So the problem with that is when you pull up at a residence, you don't know if you're pulling up to a trailer or a mansion. Not that anything's wrong with either, but space-wise, you don't know how many kids are going to be there. There's so many different things that you can't control. And we were just like, okay, we're getting these requests. We're realizing that, we're having to just pack up our whole life to go and do these events, and it would be easier if we were able to find a space and bring the party to us. And so, we began the search for a space, and we found a space. We were originally on Elm Street, and we outgrew that space in 6 months.
Wow.
And so then we knew we wanted to still be downtown Greensboro, because really downtown Greensboro is centrally located. You can get to any other point in Greensboro in about 15 minutes from downtown. So when you think about people coming to us, it made it easier for all nationalities, all races. Everybody feels comfortable downtown. It's like the melting pot of Greensboro. So, but that's how we kind of got into kids' parties. We wanted it to be, I'm a mom myself, and I've planned the way when I plan my son's parties, I look at it like I don't want to have to do anything but show up and maybe bring a cake. I want all of the activity to be on them, invitations on them, the favors on them. And we do it all here. From moms, dads, literally just show up and we take it from there. So we like to look at it like, this is a place where the kids can come and have a great time, and the parents don't have to do a whole lot of planning.
Love that. I'm not a planner. So, yeah. So somebody's watching this episode with us.
Yeah.
Say, man, that sounds like a cool idea. Where do they get started to line up a party?
So I would
like
say, they can even either give us a call, and I'm sure you'll probably drop the number here or somewhere, right here,
Number.
Go right here, or either log onto our website. I would say the website is a great place to start because we have a couple of different party packages, and just depending on the age of your child, what they're into, that's a good way to kind of start your exploring process to see, what they might like. We offer everything from candy crafts, cupcake decorating, paint parties. We do a lot here. So, and everybody likes something different. And so I would say that's a good place to start. And it goes over the packages, the pricing, all of that information. So, yeah.
Great. What would you say is your fan favorite?
Probably our candy craft. Those parties are booked more than anything else. We actually make crafts that the kids can eat. They're like edible treats. But they really enjoy that. It's hands-on. You can make a mess and the parents don't have to clean it up. We do. So they really enjoy that. And we also have during the summer, it's called Camp Candy. It's a activity alternative. Most of the local summer camps, either go bowling or swimming or skating. They might go to like the water park or something like that. But this is a fun activity where the camps come, they drop the campers off for an hour, and we do crafts with culinary, treats. It's good motor skill building. It's teamwork, and they have a good time with it.
It's just such a cool concept.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
I feel so fortunate to be able to sit here with you and talk about this.
Yeah.
It really is like, downtown Greensboro.
Yeah.
Like there's just so many cool things down here,
Yeah.
and I've been here my whole life. And until gentleman Marcus kind of
Yeah.
set this up, it was like,
Yeah.
man, I never knew that I could book a candy party.
Yeah.
We do firm events, and it's like, man, I got to thinking like,
Yeah.
candy bar.
Yeah.
So
and we
cool.
do a lot of like team building activities as well. Believe it or not. We've been doing this for 11 years, and I get amazed at the phone calls that we get. 2 Christmases ago, we went over to Wellspring in their retirement community, and we did crafts with the elderly, and it was awesome because, they loved it. Now, half of them couldn't eat them because they were diabetic or whatever, but they just had fun, like making stuff, decorating cookies. They were, some of them were holding on to them, let their grandkids come and eat them, but it's just great to see how much joy our business brings people of all ages. Who would have thought, we're doing crafts with, 80-year-olds, and they're enjoying it as much as an 8-year-old or 9-year-old.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go back to something you said earlier. I've been sitting here thinking this. What does a bachelorette party do at a candy bar?
Okay. We'll try to keep this PG.
I was going to say PG-13 maybe.
So now, along with like our packages, we do have just a general space rental. You can rent the space and do what you like while you're inside the space, as long as it's legal. But so we've had everything from we do a lot of like Sweet 16 birthday parties. We've had some like book launches, graduation parties. So it's not just the kids' parties. We have had, again, like some girls' nights, bachelorette party. We have done, someone's rented out the space to make like bath bombs. Okay. We've done like a cocktails class for the girls' night. So, so it's not just limited to the packages that we offer. We do have a vendor list. So, if you're looking for anything from, a cocktail class or adult entertainment, we have a vendor's list, and, this could be a stop on your party list for the night. So anything. I have a lot of people in my Rolodex.
I like that though.
So,
you don't limit yourself to just
you don't. Yeah. It's really, it's up for whatever you can imagine the space to be. So, but we primarily cater to child-related events, but it could be more than that.
So you sent me an article, and it had to do with being a recipient of Beyonce's Be Good.
Yeah.
Tell. I feel like we're just getting in this habit of dropping famous musicians on the podcast.
Yeah.
Like, I think last episode, no telling how many people, but so Beyonce, tell us about that. That's just like, that name alone just.
You have to like close your eyes and say,
I know.
Beyonce. Yeah. Okay. During the pandemic, we hit somewhat of a crossroads on whether we were going to stay open or not, to be honest with you. So much of our business is centered around social gatherings. So when the social distancing ordinance came into place, we were like, that's our business. We get people together to have parties, to have a good time. So if we can't do that anymore, what are we going to do? And so my husband and I came up with, we saw a lot of the restaurant industry, they really started promoting curbside in their takeout service. And so we were like, we have to figure out something that people can purchase to come by and pick up to be able to pay our rent and keep our lights on. And we were like, our candy's like 10 pieces for $1. Do you know how much candy we would have to sell to be able to do that? And so we came up with our popcorn. You can grab a bag. It's right there beside you. Yeah, we came up with our popcorn, shameless plug. We started selling gourmet popcorn.
Product placement.
Product placement. We started selling our gourmet popcorn during the pandemic. We started off with 8 flavors. Now we sell over 20. We have about 25 flavors of popcorn. And so that was something that people could order nationwide. We would ship nationwide, and people can come by and pick it up curbside. And the popcorn paid the rent. And so, during this time, there were a lot of grants that were coming into place, or opportunities for small business owners to be able, from celebrities or from, the government or your local town that just wanted to help small business owners to be able to make it through the pandemic. And so one of my friends sent me a link, and it was for Beyonce was helping small business owners to be able to sustain and make their way through the pandemic. And I just was like, okay, I'm gonna fill this thing out. I was like, I just thought, what are your chances like when you go buy a scratch off or whatever? I said, I'm gonna fill this thing out. We had to submit our story, send some pictures in, and talk about what we sold. And I'll never forget, on New Year's Eve of 2020, I found out that we were the winner of a $10,000 grant from Beyonce. And so that was crazy. I remember I kept reading the email over and over and over again. And so it was just great. And then we ended up, she featured all of the businesses on her website, and things just exploded since then. There's a picture on our Instagram page. It's one of our pinned photos. My husband and I are standing in front of the chalkboard, and our whole entire floor is full of packages. It's like a sea of packages. And it was as soon as that happened, it was like a switch got turned on. And literally, we were filling orders in Qatar, that's near Dubai, Hawaii, Alaska. We were shipping everywhere. It was so much, we just couldn't keep up almost. And so that was definitely, a lot of people have things that I feel like with Beyonce, either you love her or you hate her, but I'm she's always going to be at the top of our list because she didn't have to do that. And I feel like, she's always trying to do things to help, small business owners, African-American community, women. So yeah.
I love that story. And it's I hear the grant money. It's the $10,000. That's life-changing, especially for a lot of businesses that were just struggling to pay the rent during the pandemic.
For sure.
But I love what taking it a step further and being hey, I'm not just going to give this money, but I'm also going to shout these people out.
Oh, yeah.
And that was worth its weight.
For sure.
There. That's an incredible story.
And we all know $10,000 is $10 to Beyonce. So to even go that far to put it on your website, it's that's, even if you just did that and didn't even give us any money, just the kindness, the act of kindness. And so it's definitely, it started off I was okay, well, if I can apply for the Beyonce grant, what other grants can I apply for and possibly get? So it really lit a fire under us to just really get out there and not get consumed with what was happening around us with businesses closing. So I'm so glad we were able to make it through the pandemic. Shout out to Beyonce. Thank you, girl.
Love Beyonce. I'm now not going to be able to say Beyonce's name without
Beyonce.
My wife's going to be because she's a big Beyonce fan. She's going to be what? I'm going to be no, just whatever. It's fine. I've got a funny story. I'll tell you afterwards. Anyway, we won't go down that road. All right, so some rapid fire questions.
Okay.
We're just going to shoot these off real quick.
Okay.
First thing that comes to your mind.
Okay.
It can be a one-word answer, or you can go and elaborate, whatever you want to do. Let's start with an easy one. Favorite movie genre?
Horror.
Oh my goodness.
Horror, sci-fi horror girl. Yeah,
okay, all right. Elaborate. We're going to elaborate on this
So
one.
I feel with sci-fi and horror, it kind of prepares you for like the worst things that could happen. The movie that just came out on Netflix. Oh man, what was it when all of the AI technology started like attacking us?
I haven't watched it, but I've heard all about it.
It's amazing. So now I think I'll never look at a Tesla the same way again, because then like the movie, all the Teslas started like,
That's the one scene I saw.
Yeah. It's a great movie though, but it really lets you think about like what could possibly go wrong. Like, if I go and somebody's knocking on my door in the middle of the night, like, should I answer? Or like, I don't know. I like horror and sci-fi. Like, that's my thing.
It's funny you say that. I won't spend too much time on this. I almost didn't survive early on dating my wife because that is her favorite.
Right. And,
yeah. And we'll keep it PG. The first couple of times that I stayed over at her house, she fell asleep with the TV on.
Yeah.
And I'd wake up at like 2 a.m.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what is going on? I'm like having nightmares. I'm like, can we put like a rom-com on or like something?
I'm more of a psychological horror. I don't like the Jason or the Freddy Krueger. Like, to me, that's like, So I'm more of like my cell phone's attacking everybody in the city or something.
So I was gonna
crazy.
say Black Mirror.
Yeah.
Did you like that on Netflix?
Oh, love Black Mirror. So yeah, I'm definitely anything. I've seen every single episode of Twilight Zone. The old black and white ones. So so I'm a horror girl. Yeah.
Okay. That I love that.
Yeah.
We'll digress. We'll switch it up completely. Local dessert spot. What's the place to go?
This is probably like so cliche, but Maxi B's.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maxi B's for sure. Yeah.
It's either there or Cheesecake's by Alicia.
Yeah.
I think you gotta go.
Yeah, but I'm a cake, pie, cobbler type of girl. Definitely Maxi B's.
Favorite cobbler?
Peach. Hands down. Yeah.
You put some ice cream on
From
top
North
of it.
Carolina, peach. But yeah. And the Peach Cobbler Factory in Burlington's pretty good too. So yeah.
How have I never heard of
Yeah,
that?
they're at the shops right there in Burlington where all the stores, Google them, the Peach Cobbler Factory. Yeah, they're really good.
I get through there often. I'm gonna have to check that out. So we were talking about downtown Greensboro.
Mm-hmm.
I think that we've done a really good job the last couple of years, and especially through the pandemic, and increasing the events that we're having. Mm-hmm. Is there a specific Greensboro event that you just do not miss every year?
Ooh, I would probably say Fun for Festival. We are vendors out at that event, so we'll be out there regardless. But I just think, every year, DGI, Downtown Greensboro, they just go above and beyond, making it where you have activities from something that a 2-year-old would enjoy all the way up to, somebody that's in their 20s, 30s, 40s. So yeah, probably Fun for Festival.
Okay. Favorite we have a lot of historical communities, especially around downtown here.
Yeah.
Is there a specific historical community in Greensboro that you kind of find charming? What would that be?
Oh man. I would probably say what's the community with the it's right off downtown here where the house that was on Hoarders and they like restored the whole house.
Yeah.
What is that? What neighborhood is that?
So it's kind of in the middle of a couple. It's right beside Latham Park. It's technically Fisher Park.
Fisher Park.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fisher Park. And I do like Starmount as well. So yeah, the houses there are beautiful. So yeah.
That's where I grew up.
Yeah.
Starmount.
Okay.
That's my little Star. Well, Green Valley, we're right next to Starmount. I play a lot of my first job was at Starmount actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, growing up. Yeah, shout out Eric Gaskell. Okay. Still my insurance guy. All right. If you had to pick one,
okay.
Where are we going? A, Children's Museum, B, History Museum, or C, none of the above, and where are we going?
If I had picking between those two, I would definitely say the History Museum because I've been living in Greensboro since 2009, and it wasn't until my son's summer camp went on a field trip about 2 years ago to the History Museum. I never knew so much about the history of Greensboro, even with I think we were talking before this started about the Cone Denim Factory, and we see these buildings like Cone Hospital and stuff like that, but you don't know about the rich history of Greensboro. So definitely the History Museum.
Awesome. And there's so much from downtown.
Yeah.
so much history here. And then, like you said, so many huge industries.
Oh yeah, for
textile,
sure.
tobacco.
Yeah,
like
for
you just
sure.
don't understand that.
Yeah.
The denim capital of the
Yeah.
world.
Oh, for sure. That's
Like,
us. Yeah.
It's insane.
Here in Greensboro. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that stuff. I'm really intrigued where your candy business, we talked about the Beyonce fund and all these other things you've done. Tell us about some of the experience. Where has this taken you? What heights, things that you can remember that are just like, how did I end up here starting a candy bar?
Yeah, so we've had a couple of moments like that, but I would say probably one of the highlights that we had that I have to mention. A lot of times when our services are booked, it's a event planner that's booking it. So they just tell us, we need you to come here for this date time. We never know where we're going until we get there, and then if they're asking us to like sign an NDA at the door, we're like, oh, like who's this for? So we went down to Atlanta. We were told that we were doing a baby shower. And so we're like, okay, great. We show up with everything. We get in the room and look up, and T.I. and Tiny are there, and we are there for a baby shower that their family they're having. And so it's just crazy because we're like, they're eating our popcorn. Like, this is good. Can I have some more? So I was like, this is T.I.
Yes,
like,
T.I.
Yes. So that, and then too, we've had to do when Taylor Swift played here, oh man, maybe in 2010, I think we set up a candy table for her meet and greet. So we've done quite a bit of different things, and we've done some stuff for Charlotte Hornets. I know you're a sports fan.
Yes,
so
love that.
But yeah, I mean, and we had, and I can talk about this now because it's over, but last year we set up crafts. There was a convention in town where they had federal judges that were here in town having a meeting, and the craziest thing, all of their children had bodyguards. So we're sitting here doing crafts with the kids and standing behind them, on the wall with earpieces in, are there like bodyguards? Like, I had to do a background check to be able to be in the room with them. Because, you don't think about federal judges. People are sometimes gunning for them, depending on what's going on.
Yeah.
But, and these kids are just like, oh, yeah, that's Igor, my bodyguard behind me, So it's just like, oh, okay, So, but it's just, we never know where we're going to end up and who's going to call us and need something. And, it's just it's a fun job. It's fun. And we're, like I said before, we're bringing joy to so many people through our candy and through our popcorn and through our events. And so, I love it. Last week we went and set up for National Popcorn Day. We went and set up a popcorn bar for a company that was right here downtown. I'd never been. I see the building. I pass by it, but they're doing international business in the denim and fashion industry, and it was just great to be able to just meet people and introduce them to what we do. And it's always, I feel like it's like a revolving door. Like somebody when we go out, new people come in, and it's just great. We really enjoy what we do.
Did you ever think when you guys were on the honeymoon and you're like, hey, let's talk about this? Like, did you ever think you would be sitting in T.I.'s den at a baby shower?
Yeah, well, we were at a party venue. We weren't in his house, but that would have been great. Okay. But we were at a party venue. Never. We never. And my husband, he plays it cool. Like, we could be in the White House serving candy. He'd be like, oh yeah, But I never would have thought about this, and it's just been such a fun ride. Like, we would joke. You've seen the movie The Wedding Crashers, and so their hobby was like going to weddings and stuff. So during wedding season, that was like, we would joke like that's like our date night, because we would go, have a nice dinner. Most of the time, we would have a couple glasses of wine, and then we would start serving candy. And then after we're done serving, we'll stick around and, we got a babysitter for another 2 hours. Let's dance some, have a good time. So
did y'all come up with alter egos just like in wedding?
No, we didn't. But we do know every word to Sweet Caroline.
Of course. Yeah.
Because of doing so many weddings. So I feel like I hear that song playing in my sleep.
Especially
now.
in this area.
Yeah,
and
right.
then, of course, like you already mentioned it. Everybody, you got to know how to do the wobble.
You got to know how, yeah. So
I can't dance, but I can do the wobble.
I think we know my husband, he's the dancer. I think he knows every wedding line dance that there is. He'll pick on me if it's something that I don't know, and he knows how to do it. So yeah. But yeah, it brings us together, man. We could have an argument and have to go do a wedding together, and then we're laughing, joking, talking like a couple hours later. So
I've got a buddy who's just like been to way too many weddings. This is a complete side note. And when we were talking about planning our wedding, he was like, all right, we got to talk. He's like, can tell you I've been to 22 weddings this year. Let me tell you what's the good, bad, the ugly.
yeah.
We're going to hone in on one question. Really good DJ or live band? Which is the better one? Now, obviously, like a bad DJ, a live band's going to kill all.
No, I'm going to go with the live band, man.
Okay.
I'm going to go with the live band because it's nothing like live music. And I'll say that definitely living here in Greensboro with like the folk festival and downtown music series, it's just like I'm a sucker for live music. So, yeah.
I would agree. I think
live
that's the way to
band
go.
all day. Because, I feel like you don't even need a DJ if you have a live band.
Yeah,
so,
I would do.
Yeah.
All right. Young entrepreneurs out there, you guys have been in business for 11 years. It sounded like you guys had some other things going on and you stepped away from that to move into this full time. I'm young. I want to start a business. Maybe my dream is to somehow be in TI's party venue. Like, what do I need to do? How do I get started?
So I would say first you look at what your business is. And I say that because I feel like the way, times and days are now, you need to be fulfilling a need. Your business needs to be fulfilling a need. And I feel like, if you're, and not to say, of course, there are a lot of people that have similar businesses, but you have to say what separates my business from someone else, or what makes my business different or better from someone else's, because that's going to determine your success. And if you can't tell people why they need you, you can't just expect for them to figure it out on their own. So definitely having that plan in place and knowing what makes their business special. And, I would say too, I think it's just crazy. We live in the society now where a lot of people want to get rich quick. And, you have people who become overnight success on TikTok or, Instagram through selling their products or whatever. But I would say too, really having a brand that you can stand behind and that you're passionate about, because, that passion is going to pay the light bill. If it's something that you I just wanted to make some money really fast or whatever, it's not something that you're going to stand behind when times get tough. And they will. In business, they will get tough. But if it's something that you're passionate about and you're pouring your heart and your soul into it every day, I think you'll be successful.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I would agree with everything you just said. The branding, the sitting down and really having that conversation with like, what value am I bringing? What am I bringing
why do I
to
want to
my
do
consumer?
this? Yeah.
Right? Love that.
Yeah.
Well, before we get wrapped up, downtown Greensboro-based podcast. I'm from out of town. I'm coming to town. Mm-hmm. What's the one thing I have to do outside of coming?
Outside of coming to the bar.
Outside of coming here.
Oh man, I didn't know this was. Let's see. I would say the one thing you want to do in Greensboro. Oh man. I would just say, and this might sound like really cliche, but I would say visit downtown. Like, even if it's, we have a great business and all, but I would just say, there are lots of restaurants downtown Greensboro. I think a lot of times people overlook us and head to like downtown Raleigh or downtown Charlotte. There's lots of restaurants. There's lots of things to do. I was talking to somebody the other day about Bourbon Bowl, and they never knew we had a bowling alley downtown. Mm-hmm. They pass by it all the time. Like that. There's the arcades. There's the selfie spot. Like there's lots of things, museums, music. There's always something going on.
There's a cat library.
Yeah,
Did you know that?
there is.
That
I
blew
don't
my
like
mind when I
cats, so
saw
I
it,
know
yeah.
I know where it is because I stay away from the place. But
Read a book, adopt a cat.
right, read a book, adopt a cat. Yeah. So, but there's so much going on there. You know, we have our ballpark downtown, the new Performing Arts Center. There's always something going on. We're going to go see Stomp this weekend. I'm super excited. Yeah. So, but there's something always going on downtown. So I'm just like, you know, and you can't say that about a lot of cities. They might be more corporate, like related downtown, but we have a lot for the arts and, you know, food and just there's always something to do. So come to downtown Greensboro.
I'm actually really glad you said that. I think we get slept on.
I do too. I do too.
Greensboro.
We get overlooked a lot.
I mean, I get we're like right in the middle of Charlotte and Raleigh.
And Greensboro's a family town too.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And I think the Tanger Center, you mentioned it. I think that the success of that, and if you haven't gone to Tanger, you should go.
Yeah. For sure.
It's brought such, you know, people want to come downtown, have a bite to eat before they go. So I think the restaurant scene is growing and I mean, it feels like a new place is popping up every other week.
And even downtown is growing because I look at like, you know, even the footprint of, you know, spreading out in different directions. You know, you look at like the new Starbucks that opened or, you know, even with the Children's Museum expanding into their backyard with their offerings. So the Bauer Park, you know, so I feel like if you come to Greensboro another 5 years from now, it's going to look even different than how it does now. So, and I'm glad to be part of a growing city, you know. So, but the residents of Greensboro, they have really supported Something BARowed and wrapped their arms around us. And, you know, I'd love to say thank you.
Is there anybody specifically that really helped
Mom,
you get you started?
Just like it.
Yeah.
No. But no, yeah, I'd love to say that. And I'd also like to give a shout out to Downtown Greensboro, Inc. You know, they did a lot for the businesses downtown during the pandemic. A lot. I mean, they offered us a grant as well. And just, you know, really supporting, helping us to be the best that we can be, even through marketing initiatives, including us on mailers or, you know, if one of the local TV stations reaches out to them and say, hey, we like to highlight a business. They send people down here all the time. So we're very thankful for that. The city of Greensboro and downtown Greensboro, and then our customers, like, and our online business that we do. We have a lot of clientele that they order popcorn and we ship popcorn to them all over the nation. So I can't tell you how many times like there's like A&T might be having homecoming or the ACC tournament is in town and people stop by and they say, we order from you online all the time and we only get to come by like once a year, but it's nice to come by and put a name with a face and just meet our customers in person. So, yeah.
Well, you haven't given yourself enough credit. I'm just getting to know you, and I'll tell you, we'll get like a little personal here. I haven't had the best Sunday Monday combination, and I can say like when I leave here, like my mood, my energy, where I'm going with the rest of my day, like total trajectory change. And I think that has a lot to do with who you are, and just it's been a pleasure sitting here, getting to know you and talking to you about your business. Something BARowed, Candy Station, downtown Greensboro. We thank you again so much, Lori, for sitting down with us, and we look forward to having you
sweeten your day.
Yeah, no, seriously, I really do. Like it's a total trajectory change. Yeah. But we look forward to having you out again. We look forward to giving you a shout when we're doing events, whether it be brokerage related or podcast related. Yeah. And thank you again so much for taking the time to sit down with us.
Thank you for having us. And you all can find us on Facebook, Instagram, our website. We look forward to seeing you here in our shop. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Thank you. Bye, y'all.